Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. It's Joe, and it's time for a Pucket with Joe. Got 6 games on the board to make some money with today, and there's a couple of situation spots that I'm really loving on today's board. Yesterday, we saw Tampa get that win in OT. Thankfully, that was my best bet of the day, hitting that money line bet at -122. Now we saw the Boston Bruins get a win as well. We saw lower scoring games yesterday as these teams really step up strong defensively back from the All-Star break. I want to thank you guys for joining me here. Appreciate each and every one of you. Nice to see some new faces in the chat as well. So, like I said, 6 games on the board. I think that there's a couple situational spots to look at. We have Edmonton rolling, or not Edmonton, Toronto rolling in as a large favorite. We have Edmonton as a favorite too. Couple underdogs I'm liking with the points, as well as sprinkling on that money line because of some of these situations as well. So let's jump into that first game. The Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, -610 on the money line here for the Toronto Maple Leafs, which is absolutely just mind-blowing here. The Chicago Blackhawks coming in at +440, total of 6.5. Now, we know that the Toronto Maple Leafs are the better team in this situation, but how can you turn away Chicago at +2.5? We're getting them at -105 on the money line. Last time these teams played, it's been over a season. It was back December 2021. Toronto got a 5-4 win. We all know the issues with the Toronto Maple Leafs. They lose to teams like the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, looking at the schedule, Toronto plays the Blackhawks tonight. Then they have the Montreal Canadiens, and then they are in Chicago to play the Blackhawks Saturday. Is it Saturday or Sunday? It's one day this weekend. So they're playing a couple games back to back, these teams. We've seen strong trends to the road team too in these matchups. The road team going 5-2 in the last 7 meetings. So I think there is value here, hitting the Blackhawks plus that 2.5, sprinkling on the money line at +440, because it's hockey. Anything can happen. These bad teams can get the win. It's just like in football any given Sunday. But to even a bigger degree, the Chicago Blackhawks definitely should step up in this game. They are not solid on the road, though, you guys. 6-15 on the road this season. We've also seen Toronto really strong at home. Blackhawks on that back-to-back here. So this isn't a favorite bet of the day, but I just think there really is opportunities to hit the dog here. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you for jumping in. Let's make some freaking money today, you guys. So for me, I lean on the over with this game. I think you can also look at Patrick Kane. If the Chicago Blackhawks are going to have a good game, Patrick Kane really needs to come out and play in this game. So I'd look at his shots on goal. We had him last night for that anytime goal, not able to do it. We know the Blackhawks also got shut out by the Montreal Canadiens last night. So they lost an even worse team. And we're asking them to keep it tight with Toronto here. I think that they possibly can. So I think there's value, you guys. The next game on the board, the Tampa Bay Lightning taking on the Arizona Coyotes. Now, Tampa off that hard-fought win over the Minnesota Wild last night. This was a game. And I tell you, I was riding the Tampa Bay Lightning on the money line. We saw in this game, just to complete fight here. It was not the Minnesota Wild. It was the Colorado Avalanche. I'm getting the Wild confused because the Wild play the Avs today. Complete fight. Colorado went up in this game, and the Lightning fought back to get that win, winning it in OT. Thankfully, Vasilevsky had a really solid day. So we've seen the Lightning go to shootout last night. Going to be a little bit of tired legs. This is the second night of that back-to-back here. Brian Elliott expected in goal for them. Now they're facing a weak Arizona Coyotes team, and Connor Ingram confirmed in goal for them. He's got a 3.47 goals against average. We saw the Coyotes win their last game on Monday. That That was a 4-2 win on the road for the Coyotes over the Nashville Predators. They're returning home from a 3-game road trip. Normally a really good situation that I like to fade a team returning home from that. They also have the Kings on the road on Saturday. So this is a one-off home game situation for them. And because of that, while I do think the Coyotes at +1.5 on that puck line after the Lightning had to go to a shootout last night to get the win in a hard-fought battle in which they should have tired legs. I think this is a game where I don't want to touch the Coyotes. You could get them +1.5 if you think they have the possibility of getting the win, and that's coming in at -120. But we look at this Lightning team, so strong versus the Coyotes, going 5-1 in the last 6 meetings. I think this is one where you could take the Lightning's team total. We know we have Connor Ingram in, and he allows these goals. So I would look at the Lightning's team total over 3.5. I think they have every opportunity to get 4 goals in this one. We know the defense of the Coyotes just has not been that strong. Now, the last 6 games the Coyotes have been in as an underdog, they have covered that puck line. So that +1.5 is a little intriguing here. I just don't like the situation with home from a road trip. So that is where I'm going with that one. If I have to bet it, I'm going to look at the Lightning's team total over 3.5. These teams trend to that over as well, with the last 4 meetings going over that total. The Lightning have struggled on no rest, though, you guys. So maybe the Coyotes +1.5 is the best bet. I go back and forth with this. You guys know I love a home dog bet. Really hard to back the Coyotes against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Detroit Red Wings and the Edmonton Oilers, though, kick off at 9:30 Eastern. The Red Wings coming in here at +198, -245 for the Edmonton Oilers. And I think this one screams tighter game. I love the Red Wings here on the puck line, grabbing them +1.5 at -120. Edmonton has shown their vulnerability of allowing these goals to come in defensively. They're allowing an average of 3.2 goals per game and 31.9 shots on goal. The Detroit Red Wings have been really stepping up offensively as of late, averaging just over 3 goals per game and 29.2 shots on goal. So they're still being limited on their ability to get these shots, but the goals are coming in for this team. Now, they are allowing that 3.19 goals per game as well. They've won their last 3, with those last 2 being wins over the Vancouver Canucks, and they play Calgary tomorrow. Now, with Calgary on deck tomorrow, I don't think this is a look ahead for the Detroit Red Wings. I think automatically Calgary gets that win. Detroit really has struggled in Calgary versus Calgary. So look ahead for tomorrow's slate. I am looking at Calgary to get the win. But for tonight, I think Detroit gives the Edmonton Oilers everything they've got in the tank tonight in this one, put up a battle. So I'm going to take them +1.5 at -120. They're 12-12 on that puck line on the road. The Edmonton Oilers 13-14 at home on that puck line. So while I do think Edmonton probably wins it, I think Detroit keeps this one tight. The next game, 9:30 Eastern, the Colorado Avalanche and the Minnesota Wild. This is one, you guys, if you watched Sports Grid with myself and Joe Ranieri last night, I was on the Minnesota Wild before the Colorado Avalanche and Tampa Bay Lightning game even finished. For Colorado to have to go into that shootout last night with the Tampa Bay Lightning in a hard-fought battle, you also look at the situation they were in last night. So they had been on a road trip. They had one home game, and that was that last night one. And then they hit the road again today to take on the Minnesota Wild. I think terrible scheduling spots for both nights. The Minnesota Wild are nothing in this game for me, laying -134. I think is a really fair price here for the Wild. Now, they should be starting Marc-Andre Fleury. He has a 2.98 goals against average. So I do think Marc-Andre Fleury in goal is definitely a great way to go with the Wild in this game. I love what we're seeing out of him. Shout out to Anthony. Thanks for being here today. This is a battle of the Central, you guys. And I know the Avs are going to be digging deep to try to bounce back off of that loss last night. I just don't think they have enough in the tank to take on the Wild in this game. I think this is a low-scoring defensive battle all day long. And the Avs without Cale Makar just are not looking like themselves. We know how impactful he is to this team. So give me the under 6 in this game. Give me the Minnesota Wild at -134 on the money line. I think both of these bets hit nicely in this one. We know how strong these defenses are. Both defenses are really controlling these games, with the Colorado Avalanche only allowing 2.77 goals per game and the Minnesota Wild allowing that average of 2.85 and 30.4 shots on goal. The unders also hit in 3 of the last 5 meetings. One of those has gone over and one has pushed. So with this total sitting here at 6, we do have the fear of the empty netter getting us that push. But I tell you, this is a game that we could see this one going to OT, just like we saw last night with the Avs and the Lightning. It's going to be a fantastic game, battle of the Central here, but I do give the edge to the Minnesota Wild here in this one. Now, looking at their last game, that was on Monday. They had a shootout loss on Monday to the Panthers, 2-1. So low scoring game. Their last 2 games have gone to shootout. So this is a prime opportunity for these 2 teams to go to that overtime if you do like betting to go to overtime. They have been dumpster fire. It is true. I completely agree with you. But I have to look at this team. This team is desperate for the win. With Marc-Andre Fleury in goal, I do have faith in this team. And we talk about them being dumpster fire, but we have to look at their home record, going 16-9-0-2 at home this season. We know the Colorado Avalanche have been solid on the road, going 15-10-1. Colorado's not 100% right now. I think without Cale Makar, that's the difference maker. And on the back-to-back here, I do not trust Colorado to come in and face a healthier team in the Minnesota Wild with strong goaltending in this matchup. So good luck, everyone. I think the under is probably your safest bet of this day, that under 6 in this game. The next game on the board, the Buffalo Sabres taking on the Anaheim Ducks. Talk about a team who is desperate for the win in the Buffalo Sabres, losing their last 4 games. They need a bounce back. This is game 2 of a 3-game road trip. Can they get it tonight versus the Anaheim Ducks? Now, the Ducks coming in here as a huge home underdog at plus 176. You guys know how much I love a home dog. I can't get behind the Ducks in this one. They lost the last 2 and completely were dominated by the Vegas Golden Knights, and that was a 7-2 loss on the road. They're back home for this one, though. John Gibson expected in goal. He's got a 4.04 goals against average. So looking at the defense of the Ducks, really letting them down. They give their goaltending no support, with allowing 39.01 shots on goal per game and 4.07 goals per game. So John Gibson's not going to get a break in this one. We know the Buffalo Sabres fly and get these shots on goal. They're averaging 32.2 shots on goal per game. So I expect the Buffalo Sabres to come out nice and strong in this matchup. The last time these teams played, it was a 6-3 win for the Buffalo Sabres. I'm expecting the goals to come in. I like the over 6.5 in this one. I like the over in the first period, over 1.5. And I do like the Buffalo Sabres team total over 3.5, because I do think they're going to have a really productive offensive day in this matchup. They need that bounce back. They need to get things back on track. So give me the Buffalo Sabres here to explode. They are averaging that 3.63 goals per game. You're liking the under. Which game, last man, are you liking the under? Is it the Wild game, or are you talking the Sabres game here? Now, I looked at the Ducks and I flirted with the Ducks on that puck line at plus 1.5 at minus 130. I just can't get there with them here at that. We look at the Buffalo Sabres. They've been so phenomenally strong on the puck line on the road, going 16-9 on the road on that puck line. I think it's just safer to take their team total over 3.5. And instead of taking them, laying the 1.5, I just don't trust the Ducks they don't give up. So this is one, you guys, if you have a little bit of faith in the Ducks, but they haven't covered that puck line in their last 5 games at home. So I can't get there with them. I do like this over 6.5, though. The last 4 games for the Sabres versus the Pacific have gone over the total, and the Ducks coming in off of 2 days rest, their last 4 games have gone over that total. So give me the over 6.5. Like I said, give me the Sabres team total over, and give me that first period over 1.5. Anthony, I'm glad you are rolling with me there. Oilers should destroy. Absolutely, the Oilers should destroy the Red Wings. This is an Oilers team, you guys, that is up and down. They let these games where they are such big favorites slip. This is where they slip. So that's where I find the value on the Detroit Red Wings. They have been stepping up offensively. Both defenses can be suspect at times. So I do like Detroit to keep it tight, but I wish you best of luck. That one is not a client play for me. You're seeing nothing but sevens, then hit the over 7. I still feel confident in the 7. Lessman, I'm not worried about this one staying under that total. Okay, the last game on the board. Only 6 games on the board today. We know we had a million yesterday. The New York Rangers taking on the Vancouver Canucks. Now, the Rangers coming in as a large favorite here. They've won their last 5 games. Big win over the Carolina Hurricanes. I didn't expect them to dominate the Canes so much. I expected that to be a lower scoring one. The Rangers themselves got 6 goals in that game on Saturday versus the Hurricanes, only allowing 2 by the Canes. It was a phenomenal job by the New York Rangers. Now they have the Oilers on deck on Friday and then the Calgary Flames on deck on Saturday. So I always look at who teams have in the future and when they play for any look-ahead situations. Now playing the Vancouver Canucks tonight, not the strongest of opponents, especially defensively and goaltending. Now we have a goaltender coming up that is making his NHL debut. In the AHL, he has a 2.48 goals against average. So this is always a scary situation looking at these goaltenders coming up. They normally play either absolutely lights out, stand on their head, have a phenomenal night, and everyone's like, oh my God, wow. Or they let in these goals quick, fast, and early, and it's a bad night for that team. So Vancouver starting, and I'm probably going to butcher his name, Siloff here. So that's their new goalie brought up from the AHL. I'm not sure how he will do here, but I do have faith in this New York Rangers team. This is a hard team to come out against. The Rangers have been so strong defensively and with Igor in goal, while Vancouver has completely struggled in a lot of situations, especially defensively. I could see some goals coming in this one. This total something I'm not going to touch, but I will look at the New York Rangers team total, and hopefully this doesn't shoot me in the foot. I know Siloff comes in with a good AHL goals against average at 2.48, but I do think the Rangers still get 4 goals in this game. I'm going to have to ride their team total over. This one hasn't gone out to clients either, you guys. I just have a gut feeling if they're able to get 6 goals on the Carolina Hurricanes, getting 4 on Vancouver, who allows 4.02 goals per game. Yes, this could be a little bit of look ahead with the Oilers on deck on Friday and the Flames on Saturday. But I think if this was the Oilers tomorrow, I would be a little bit more concerned about the Rangers tonight. But in this situation, I think it's a good one to lay the over 3.5 goals here with the New York Rangers. I also look at the last 4 games. The Rangers have got the win. So the Rangers in regulation wouldn't be bad either in this one. So I see Johnny looking at the Rangers in regulation. Johnny, how much juice are you paying for the Rangers in regulation? I am getting Rangers in regulation at -122. I don't hate it. So I do think that is good ability to do that. They did have a good home game. If you like the Vancouver Canucks, I don't blame you. I can't trust this defense, and that is my problem with it here. Anthony also liking the Rangers. Okay, you guys. So those are the 6 games on the board. Rangers on the money line. They lost in the 90s. Definitely could be a little bit of payback here. A long-lived grudges definitely held in the NHL. Okay, so let's build a parlay. Let's get going with this, you guys. The Wings outscored the Canucks. Absolutely. 11-3. Have you seen how good Calgary has been doing defensively, holding off opponents' ability to get these shots on goal, you guys? Thank you for dropping that -125 and 60 for the Rangers. That is great odds. Calgary's been doing a phenomenal job limiting opponents. So that's something to look at. Is the safe shots on goal for the opposing goalie and taking it under. And not because I don't think those goals are going to sink, because the defense of Calgary is really limiting those shots on goal. So just a tidbit, something to look at tomorrow for Calgary's matchup. So recap, the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs. I can't take the Leafs at minus 610, even to throw into a parlay. Are they the better team? Absolutely. Are the Blackhawks hot trash? Absolutely. But we know the Blackhawks step up for big games like this. And we know Toronto almost takes a vacation night. They've got a vacation night in their next matchup versus Montreal. And then they face the Blackhawks again. Now, there's been trends for the road team being the strongest, going 5-2 against in the last 7, getting those wins. So I'm going to take a chance on the Blackhawks plus 2.5. Am I going to parlay it with anything? No. Am I going to go big on this bet? No. Am I going to sprinkle on that money line at plus 440? Hell yeah. You guys know I'm a sucker for that plus money. But I do think with me thinking the Blackhawks can put their share of goals in, we know how bad Chicago is at letting the goals come in. So this is an over game for me. I'm going to look at the over 6.5 in this one. I think we see a lot of goals coming in this one. Very, very good point here. And anyone think Patrick Kane could be wanting to go to the Maple Leafs, looking to have a big night? I think Patrick Kane definitely. He wanted to go to the New York Rangers. Tarasenko was picked up by the Rangers. Patrick Kane is looking to go somewhere. He needs to come out phenomenal tonight as well. I'm going to look at his shots on goal, anytime goal for Patrick Kane. I know we rode him last night, not able to get anything done. Blackhawks off that 4-0 loss last night versus Montreal. They need to play good tonight. So that's where I'm going to go, guys. Do I love it? No. Does it make me want to throw up? Yes. Am I going to watch the game and throw up? Probably, but that's what I'm liking in this one. The next game on the board, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Arizona Coyotes. I'm going to take the Lightning's team total over 3.5. I think they have every ability to get 4 goals in this one versus the Arizona Coyotes. Now, do I hate the Coyotes plus 1.5 with the Tampa Bay Lightning on that back-to-back? No, I think with what we've seen out of the Coyotes at home now in their new Mullet Arena, such a stupid name, this small, tiny arena. I do think Arizona is playing better at home in that location. So taking them plus 1.5, I do not hate at all. The Lightning, another situation where they are the way better team coming into this matchup. So I'm going to count on them to get the goals in this one tonight. The home team has covered the puck line in each of the last 7 games between the Lightning and the Coyotes. So another reason to take the Coyotes plus 1.5. Tampa won the last matchup in December, though, covering that puck line 5-3. So something to take into account in that one. Now, the next game on the board, the Detroit Red Wings and the Edmonton Oilers. Detroit on the puck line. You guys, I'm loving the dogs today, plus 1.5 or plus 2.5, whatever you have to take them. I think we have tighter games. We know that they're in the final stretch here in these last, 25 to 30 games for each of these teams. They got to dig so freaking deep. They want to make playoff runs. Is Detroit going to get there sitting 6th in the Atlantic? No, but would they love to spoil and not let Edmonton get points tonight? Absolutely. Edmonton, I just don't trust to cover a puck line to save my life. They play down 2 opponents. They won in February on the 7th, 5-2. So they did get that win, cover the puck line. That was only 8 days ago. Detroit has a little bit of payback here. They are 20-9 in the last 29 meetings versus the Edmonton Oilers too. The Oilers probably win this one a straight up, but I trust in Detroit more to cover that puck line. The Colorado Avalanche and the Minnesota Wild. I love the Wild today. It is one of my best bets of the day. This has made my clients' cards, the Wild, at minus 134. Now shop these lines, try to get better value. There was minus 130s earlier this morning. I've seen even minus 125s since then. This line is moving up and down. So shop those lines, get the best value, you guys. But I do think the Wild are in play tonight versus the Colorado Avalanche. I think the Avs, with going to a shootout last night versus the Tampa Bay Lightning and their scheduling situation, this is a terrible spot for them. So give me the Wild with Marc-Andre Fleury and give me the under 6. I think this is a low-scoring defensive battle. If you're getting a 5.5, if you've seen line movement by the time you watch this, I still like it under 5.5. I think this one could be a 2-2 going to OT. We get a 3-2 final in this one. So that's where I'm liking. I'm going to sprinkle on that OT for sure. I'm going to also sprinkle on 2-2 apiece to go to overtime. I think this is a complete battle of the Central here. You're like an Avs on the money line. Okay, we got a battle. And I love that under. I love the under for sure. Chicago probably did take last night off to get ready for this battle tonight. Chicago, you guys, you got to sprinkle on that money line at plus 440. The Blackhawks love to play upset. We know that. Okay, the next game for the recap, we're going to go with the Buffalo Sabres team total over 3.5. I'm going to take the first period over 1.5. I'm going to take the full game over 6.5 or 7 in this one. I think we have a battle on our hands. The Ducks never give up. They're sitting 8th in the Pacific. We've got the Sabres sitting 5th in the Atlantic, needing so desperately to break their losing streak. They have lost their last 4 games. They need to bounce back here. I do expect the goals to come in for the Buffalo Sabres. Am I willing to take them on the puck line? Hell no, with this losing streak. They're 16-9 though on the road on that puck line. So they have been a solid puck line team. The Ducks never give up. And that's the problem with the Ducks. Taking them not on that puck line, you can't ever count on them to lay down and let another team just continue to steamroll over them. They fight to the very end. So if you like the Ducks, if you think they have the ability to get the win, that plus 1.5 at minus 130, I do think is a solid play tonight. But I think the better bet is just take the Buffalo Sabres to go over their 3.5 in this one. In the last game, the New York Rangers and the Vancouver Canucks. You guys, give me the Rangers team total over 3.5. Now, we do have a goalie making his AHL or NHL debut from the AHL for the Vancouver Canucks. His name is Silov, maybe you say it. Silovs is how you spell his name. These vowels, I grew up in Australia, if anyone didn't know. I end up saying the vowels all wrong. So I think he could absolutely stand on his head tonight. But we just saw the Rangers put up 6 goals versus the Carolina Hurricanes. Could this be a letdown spot with the Oilers and Calgary Flames on deck? It's slightly possible for a letdown spot. So if you like the Vancouver Canucks plus 1.5, I don't blame you on this spot. You're still getting value. I think if anything, we see these goals coming in. I cannot trust the defense of the Vancouver Canucks. So hitting that first period again, over 1.5 in the first period, over 6.5 for the game, I think is absolutely solid in this. So if I was going to make any parlays, and I kind of saved this to the end, because my best bet, my favorite bet of the day is the Minnesota Wild. I just look at the scheduling spot for the Colorado Avalanche and I just can't get there with them. I think this is very tired legs. So if I was going to parlay a couple, I think I'd take the Wild and the Rangers for straight up in a parlay together. I like the Wild on their own, though, and we do have that unknown with the Vancouver Canucks goalie stepping up in this one. So looking at another way to parlay the Wild tonight, I think you'd look at the Wild and the Buffalo Sabres, because I think the Buffalo Sabres so need this bounce back tonight, parlaying those two together. And then I think you could probably add to this one the Tampa Bay Lightning. I do think they get the win. And I know they're just as tired as the Colorado Avalanche, but they're coming off the win. They're also not in the terrible scheduling spot that the Avs are in, because the Avs went home for one game, then had to hit the road after returning home from a road trip. I think this is a perfect storm for the Avs in a bad scheduling spot. So the Wild, the Buffalo Sabres, and I'd throw the Lightning. I do think all 3 of those teams get the win tonight. My only concern would be the Lightning. So that's where I'm going with my 3 games that I'm going to parlay together. You guys, let me know what you're parlaying. I told you the Wild is my favorite bet of the day. You know, I love that frickin' plus money. You know, I'm going to take the Chicago Blackhawks with a nice little sprinkle on that money line at plus 440. I'm also going to take them plus the 2.5. I think they have every opportunity to play a really hard game versus the Toronto Maple Leafs today. So that is what I am liking, you guys. I can't pass up plus money, but sprinkle on that. Trusting in the Blackhawks is a terrible situation, but I want to wish you guys all the very best tonight. I hope you all make some good freaking money. Again, drop below who you're liking so everyone here can cash with you too. We can celebrate each other's wins together. I want to hear about what you won last night, where you're cashing, where you're finding you're making profit in the NHL, because these first period over 1.5 were making so much money before the All-Star break. We've seen these start to slow down. We saw unders hitting last night. Any angle that you've got here, let me know. The only player prop I'm really looking at is Patrick Kane tonight. We talked about Toronto having a couple of ex-players from Toronto on the Blackhawks. So the Blackhawks possibly stepping up. But I also look at that storyline. Patrick Kane looking for a new home. It doesn't look like the Rangers are going to take him, taking Tarasenko. Patrick Kane possibly could want to go to the Toronto Maple Leafs. If he does, big pickup for the Leafs. He needs to come out, prove something tonight. So you guys have a good one. Live bets, definitely great way to go. If you ever want to catch my live bets, I am on Sports Grid Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night this week. And we're going to be making some money live betting these games. So you guys, all the best. Have a good one. Montreal first period regulation puck line killed me for last night. I tell you, Montreal coming out, getting that win. I can't believe that they didn't go over in that first period. We really saw some crazy games. Thank you. I did. I had a wonderful Valentine's Day. I was live on Sports Grid all night, so it was a good one. But you guys, Blackhawks, Maple Leafs, under 6.5 for you there. If that under 6.5 does cash, it means the Blackhawks plus 2.5 probably does too. So I don't hate that pick. Definitely great there. And Taylor, thank you. You guys, I appreciate all of you for being here. Let's make some freaking money. I can't wait to hear what you guys are betting, what you're winning with. So drop it below. You're trusting in Toronto. I wish you all the best with it. Probably win by 2 goals. Do they win by 3 though? Is the biggest question mark. You guys have a great one. Keep smiling. Enjoy your Wednesday evening. I will see you back here tomorrow.